From the Cage Minds, I'm Mika Frankl, and I am joined by the history-making BKFC welterweight champion of the world, the boxing world champion, Mr. Austin, no doubt, Trout. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm blessed on this fine Black History Month day.
You've had a great month overall. I got to be honest. I don't know if you could hear the guy, but he almost was a clone of you sitting like three rows in front of me, standing there in Hollywood, Florida, and he's yelling, "It's Black History Month. Don't rob this man," as they're putting out the decision.
I didn't hear him, man, but I appreciate that, brother, man. Hey, don't do this on Black History Month. I'm trying to make my own Black History. Yes, sir.
And you made combat sports history, the first crossover world champion of the modern era. At the press conference, we didn't really get to touch on that aspect of it. What does that mean to you? I know you set that goal to come over here and put that. No one can ever take this away from you. You're the first ever to do this.
No, it definitely means a lot. There's a very short list of anybody who went from one sport and then championed another sport, and I'm very honored to be on that list. And it means the world to me. It definitely means a lot for my legacy. Which we always want to leave something behind, something that our children and grandchildren can be proud of. So I pray that they are proud. You know what I'm saying?
What was it like for you? You've had the world titles put around your waist before, but to complete this goal, was there any different kind of satisfaction from this victory?
I wouldn't say a different satisfaction, but it was just as satisfying as the first one. Because hear me out. I started boxing at 10 years old, right? And then 10 years later, I turned pro at 20. And then it wasn't until 7 years, 6 years later, I won my title. So the 16 years that was telling everybody I'm gonna be a world champion didn't come into fruition until 16 years later. Um, so now I lost my belt in 2013, right? And it was a good fight. Not too many people can fight Canelo for all 12 rounds, but I did. Um, but every time somebody would introduce me, they introduce me as, say, a former world champion. And I would correct them. I say, and future, former and future world champion. I've been doing that for 10 years, to the point that people were like, yeah, all right, motherfucker, you ain't about to win another title. You know what I'm saying? But I believed it, and this belt confirmed what I've been telling everybody for the last 10 years. I'm gonna win another title. So Baruch Hashem, all praise in the Most High, that I was able to get there and do it again. So it just it's confirmed that I am who I say I am.
How big was it for you transitioning to a gym that does everything? I've heard you talk about the place you're at now in Houston. We ain't got just a boxing gym. It's a Muay Thai, a grappling, MMA. You got a full martial arts facility that you're a part of. How pivotal has that been for your success now with bare knuckle crossing over sports?
Oh, it's been a big deal because Bobby is a great mind in fighting, period. But he's definitely a genius at boxing level. And this is boxing. As much as everybody, both my opponents try to say this ain't boxing, this ain't boxing. This is boxing, right? It's like boxing plus. Um, and Krubo Bob Perez, he's definitely a genius in that plus, on that plus side. So I got two great minds working with me. Hollywood Hernandez, he's a genius in the human body and how to get somebody into to fit shape, strength wise, speed wise, agility. I'm just surrounded by a bunch of geniuses, and that's not even to mention the other coaches that we got in that gym. Aaron Hernandez, Dwight Pritchett. All these guys have been in the game 20 plus years at the highest level of their selective sports. And I'm right there soaking up all that knowledge. I love it. It was not hard to make that adjustment. It was like, a kid in the candy store, like, what? I get to, and you, and oh, bad, let's go. But also I must put out there, me and Bobby Benton have been working with each other since I started. So, I'm 18 years professional, I've known Bobby for probably 20 as well.
You feel like there's also this satisfaction in proving all these people and these naysayers wrong? Because, like you said, there was this 11-year gap. So I'm sure that just soaking up all, returning all those receipts had to feel so good after all this time.
It again, Baruch Hashem, it feels so good. In my whole career, that's all I've been doing. From amateurs, a little black kid from Las Cruces, New Mexico, was not supposed to be the Olympic alternate for 2004. You know what I mean? But I did that, and they couldn't believe it. And then fast forward to being the same kid that was not supposed to be at the Olympics, is not supposed to be a world champion. You know what I mean? The odds and the doubt that I receive, which is why I call myself No Doubt, because I only need one person to believe in me, and that's me. And as long as that happens, I'm going to conquer and do everything. They've always doubted me, and they still to this day still do. I was the underdog in this Palomino fight, bro. I was the underdog in that Diego fight. I can't believe this shit. Excuse my language, but it feeds the fuel. I go on the road, I go in people's backyards and I beat them up. That has been my MO in my whole career. And all I need is God on my side, and I'll take on the world. I hope they keep doubting me. I don't know what I'm gonna do when everybody believes in me.
Well, all week I'm there in Florida and we're seeing it's at the Seminole Hard Rock. I downloaded that Hard Rock app. You could not find a way on that app to bet on your fight. They kept promoting it that you could bet on your fight in that app, and
Oh
I
my
could not find
God.
a way. Dude, when we got to the casino, I could not find where the pit was to put money down until they were trying to rush us into the venue because of where they had us. It
Dog.
was right there. We're walking by, and I
There
was
it
having a
is.
conversation. Exactly. And I thought, and Gabe, you've already met Gabe, the intern here at Cage Mind. He's
Yeah,
messaging me. He's
yeah.
like, bro, I got 600. If you can find some way to put 600 on Austin, do it. Well, in the
Please.
messages he sent me, I thought he found a way through an app to do it. So I didn't
Ah,
run back out. So I thought he had that on you. But don't worry, we were all wide
oh
open.
man.
What the hell is going on? Jorge Hernandez from Southwest
Oh,
Fight News
yes.
is calling me like 3 days in a row, like, can you believe this shit? How is Austin an underdog here with all this experience in boxing? No disrespect to Luis, but odds makers usually are a little bit smarter.
Usually. Usually, I had no idea, but shout out to everybody that bet on me. Um, give God the praise. We made out that money. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my cut. I just want y'all to keep betting on me. Let's
Was
make this
there
money
a
together.
was there a big difference from camp 1 to camp 2 in this new sport?
Yeah, I was a lot more comfortable in the second camp. And not that I try to make myself uncomfortable because that's how you grow. But as far as learning new stuff, it wasn't. I was just kind of getting things smoothly, getting at it, being able to go further and pushing things. And my confidence is still very high. I feel like I can beat up everybody right now.
How much in training and in preparing for bare knuckle, some of the stuff that you're doing, you're like, oh, I thought of this, but it's kind of illegal in the other sports. So, oh wait, I get to do this now. How much has
I
it
get to
almost
do
opened
it.
you up?
It opened me up a lot. I feel like I got a lot more tools to the arsenal. Things that, like you said, that you had to get away with. Now it's an open and honest tool. So that just means I get to use it more and be better at it. Um, it's great. This bare knuckles, I keep telling. I hope they let me bring some fighters in because I got some guys that they will kill at this. They're crazy SOBs anyway. They like to fight. They like to fight dirty. So um, shout out to Nagi Aguilera down here in Houston.
I know that we saw a lot of guys have charged right at you so far, it seems like Diego, Luis. Is it the MMA guys that don't understand the footwork, or what are you seeing out here? Because you on your pivots just keep dancing around everybody.
Well, I think I've had two guys that came from MMA background, so I have to say it must be the MMA style because especially if you had a wrestling background. Um, that charge forward, that's a shoot, right? What they call is a shoot. You know, there's not really much shoots that go lateral. You just go forward. So not that I want to give anybody secrets, but the pivot's gonna work as long as they keep shooting.
Do you think that bare knuckle we saw with Paulie versus Jason Knight, that gave a lot of confidence and credence to where we said this is a happy medium for boxers and
Yeah.
MMA fighters because everybody loves the crossover fights. Now, with how more the intricacies are developing and what you're showing us, do you feel like there is a big advantage that boxers possess that they just had to open up and utilize?
Yes, I do. But again, if these boxers can't fight, what I mean, it's gonna be a long night for them. You got to learn how to fight, and you have to get your wind up for the clinch. It's a different win. If anybody's had to wrestle, which I don't have very much experience in wrestling. Besides wrestling with the homies or pause. Um, it's a different win. It's I'm exhausted. I can fight 12 rounds boxing. That's I can do that, but I don't know when to relax when it's time to clinch. And in fact, I don't want to relax at any point. So you got to get your wind up. You got to learn how to do, that inside fighting, um, which is it's different. If someone grabs you up when you're in a position that you can't protect yourself, you're just going to get clobbered.
So, what was that like with your strength and conditioning, developing those other kind of cardiovascular systems? Because, as you said, the clinch taxes you in a different way, and we saw you look like to be in the best shape of your career.
Well, it's really just sprints and more just doing it, getting experience and doing it. The only way that you could build your win sparring is to spar. You feel me? And so I just did a lot of clinching, a lot of grappling, a lot of holding and hitting. Even when I was, sparring full gloves and headgear, I still would grab them and really, fuck them up a little bit.
Did Luis have the wrong approach to fight you? Was that where he messed up right away?
Look, I gave a couple of interviews and I gave him the game plan. I said, look, if he's gonna try to stand outside and box me, that's terrible. That's gonna be a terrible game plan. His best bet is to get inside and make it ugly. And even as you saw when he tried, I had that locked down. But he didn't do it enough. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he could have got maybe a lucky one in or two if he, had more inside fights. But then again, he probably would have gotten knocked out in that process. But yeah, I don't, and then for him to want a rematch, I don't understand or see what he thinks he's gonna do different. Uh, More rushing me means you're gonna run into more punches. More boxing outside means you're gonna catch more jabs, more straights. Um, I got his number, so there's
How
no
much
point of doing that.
how much of the press conference, that post-fight press conference that we're there for, is it that gentlemanly respect? Because I could see what you were thinking without telling us as you glared over and smiled at me. I'm the only one in there that you know, so I could see you looking at me, and he said a couple things, and you're like, mm-hmm. So you were being very
Well,
gentlemanly in that atmosphere.
the first one that was super cap was when they asked him about the knockdown. They said, "Were you hurt or did he kind of shove you down?" And he was like, well, I gotta go look at the tape." It's like, there you go. You were knocked out. You didn't know what happened. He didn't see what happened. But he tried to say, I wasn't dizzy. I think he caught me with my foot up. That one was super cap. Because, and as you saw, I put it up there probably 4 or 5 different times, slow mode it, zoomed in, letting people know, nah, he didn't even know what hit him. I wish I could find the other angle. I don't think, you know what I mean?
That backside of
Where
it,
where my corner was. Oh, if I could find the angle of that.
that left
To
hand
anybody
connect,
that was at
and
the
it
Hard
did
Rock,
connect. Hey, that left hand
man,
landed so fast that a lot of us didn't see it, and all you saw was paddling, face planting. I thought at first, before I saw a replay, I thought he literally just like slipped trying to catch up to you because you were so fast, and I thought he face planted. I was like, did he not get touched? That's even more embarrassing. Saw the replay, I was like, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, but you know, I in my mind's eye, I saw that uppercut and I saw that left hand, 100 times over. Um, and all I need is another target to start seeing what I'm gonna do to the next target. So I'm very excited for the next fight. I didn't have to heal up. I want to stay. I'm staying in somewhat shape, so like we can get this going pretty quick.
Is it a rematch or are we moving forward? I know that's with Luis Desires. I know that 9-0 was a resume that would be built up and sound like he deserves it, but that was a clean sweep, except for it felt like the round where you offered it to him, allowing him to show you what he had in that first 2 minutes. Besides that, where do you feel? I know that it wasn't going to be polite to shut him down right next to you at the press conference. Where do you feel you go from here, though?
So if the company feels like a rematch is a good business, um, I feel like that's easy money. Sure, I'll take the easy money. It's gonna get worse because again, now I know what you bite on, what hits you, what you gonna do when you don't know what to do. What I mean? I'm gonna stop them. But moving forward, I've put a list of names out there that entice me, and I'm looking to see, of course, whoever's next. I'm the champion. I skipped some people to get there, and they feel some way about it. We could tussle too. You know what I mean? It, my MO's the same. Like I really don't duck smoke. I'll fight anybody as long as it makes sense. And
That's
by
an
making
interesting
sense, like
take.
as long as it makes money.
You just brought up the rankings, and that's an interesting take because we saw like Mike Perry's the king of violence, and I don't know if you noticed it
What does
after
that mean?
you're getting well, he beat Eddie Alvarez and they had a belt
No,
on
no,
that
I
fight.
know, I know. I was there. I called that. I was help calling that fight. But
Well,
I mean, there's a champion at 175. You feel me? Right? Redneck Mundell. Unless
I
I'm
was going to
saying his
bring that
last
up.
name
They were trying
wrong.
to fight in the
Yeah.
card in the crowd after you were getting your belt because Mandel's trying to get attention because Perry doesn't seem to want that fight. Are you willing to take on the rankings? That's what I was going to say. Perry's making a name for himself, but he doesn't want the rankings for some reason or the title.
Well, I have an issue with that. I mean, I have a certain lawsuit for belt places. I'll deal with the rankings. You know what I mean? That's part of my it's part of my obligation. I think as a champion.
So it's an obligation. You got to go out there. So you're not just out there looking for the next biggest name or trying to attract somebody from the boxing world or MMA world to try to
Yeah,
come in.
yeah. If it presents itself, I'm sure it failed me when if something like that came up, great. But in the meantime, while I don't feel like we have to wait. We got somebody that was number one. Who is that?
We got a number one ranked contender. You're gonna make me pull up the rankings right away. I wasn't even thinking about doing that while
You
I was
got to,
talking to
bro.
you.
You ain't got to, but yeah, who's that? Let's talk about getting a fight going. Cause I want to hit this shit while the iron's hot. We can
Did
we can
you
make a victory lap.
did you think you were coming back to bare knuckle because we know that it was being talked of the title fight right away after the Diego fight. You went back to boxing. Were you surprised that this fight came back around?
Not surprised. I'm actually surprised that it didn't happen. Last year. That's what I thought, and then end up taking another fight and blah 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 blah. So I wasn't. I was just happy it came back. I was thought that was going to happen just a while ago.
Also, we've seen you picking up some toys recently. Uh, are you having something custom made, or were they able to hook you up with a nice little piece on site?
Shout out to HCX Tactical. Nah, I'm gonna give me a custom made, little BKFC champion pistol, black and
So,
gold, and which goes against my, all my guns are black. You feel me?
I was about to ask, you are a hunting enthusiast?
Yes, I do like. Uh, I like guns. Um, Collecting, you know, I've hunted. I've hunted a few times. Um, I moved here to Texas, and they don't hunt the same way New Mexicans do. Um, and I don't really want to do that. I feel bad for Bambi, you feel me? So just sitting there while they're feeding, that's cheating. So I'm looking forward to, and again, I'm not big on hunting. I just want to know how to do it, how to track, what to look for, just in case grocery stores don't exist for in some near time future. So that's why I've only gone a few times, and I'm only gonna go a few more times just to learn. I don't even eat meat. You know what I'm saying? And so if we cut some, we chop it up and we donate all the pieces to
So
charity.
vegetarian or full vegan?
Vegetarian. Although I'll eat meat during camps, pause, because I do get depleted while I'm training hard.
Right, and feel that is a little bit better fuel to add back so you're able to perform the next day.
Correct. So I'm not like strictly vegetarian where I never eat meat and it's because of animal rights. Although I love animals, but I have my own reasons. I don't want the stress. I don't want the fear, terror, none of that. And so if I do eat meat, it's usually like hunted meat. You know what I mean? Wild game.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice. Is that something like something usually you get from yourself, or do you have some friends or
Some friends, they hunt all the time, so they usually got a freezer. So when it's time for camp, I'm like, let me grab some. Let me get some of that good free range, grass fed. Usually they come in because you calling them as a woman, you know what I mean? They live in a good life.
Austin Trout definitely living the gold life. Gonna get that gold piece, like we said, to go along with the
Yeah.
gold belt around his waist. He's gonna be defending here soon. Do you have like a timeline for when you'd like to be active again?
Soon, man, April, May, June, July. I do have the Team Combat League season, so August is when it's over. So if we get something no later than August, that would be perfect.
I don't think we've ever touched on the Team Combat League. You do some
Yeah,
coaching, you did a little bit
I'm
of fighting.
coaching, a little managing. So the Team Combat League, and I'm very excited for this season too. Houston Hitmen's this is the first year for that team, and Houston got a franchise boxing team. We got 24 fighters. I just came back from the practice of the Hitmen and did some sparring today. I'm telling you, we got some killers on this squad. Um, now that my hands feel better, I'm about to jump in spar with them Wednesday probably. Um, yeah, first fight's March 28th at the Red Owl Arena, and we're fighting against DC Capital. It's a great platform for fighters to be showcased. One, they have good production, good promotion. Two, it's a good way for these fighters to earn some money. They pay pretty well per week for just doing one or two rounds. You know what I mean? So it's good income, and lastly, it's another home for fighters to get some work because boxing is losing a lot of homes to be seen for these fighters. So the Team Combat League Season 2 starts March 28th. It's going to be, of course, you got to find it on an app. I will have a link in my bios shortly for people who want to sign up and check us out.